With all the different versions of Minecraft out there, it can be a little bit confusing, so let's run through the pros and cons of each. Hey guys, it's Chad. You may be wondering, which edition do I buy my child, or what's the differences between all the different editions of Minecraft? Well, there are so many different editions. Okay, there's like, I don't even think I can cover them all in one video. In fact, I've tried to script all the different versions of Minecraft, and there are a lot of them. So we're gonna cover the two most popular editions of Minecraft. That is the Java edition and the Bedrock edition. Java is the original. It's made for PC only and is updated the most, kept up to date with the most features. It does have some downsides, which we'll get to in the rest of the video. The other edition is Bedrock edition, and this includes a lot of the different console editions, minus PlayStation at the moment, and the iOS and Android versions and the Windows 10 version. So a lot of different consoles, computers with Windows 10 and phones is all underneath the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. If you're wondering which one to buy your child who wants to play on a PC, I would highly suggest the Java edition. The reason is because when you buy the Java edition, you get a code to use in the Microsoft Store to get the Windows 10 edition for free. So if you're really wondering, buy the Java edition, get the Windows 10 edition for free, play both and see which one you like, or watch the rest of this video and then play whichever one you enjoy the most. I'm going to be playing the Bedrock edition on Windows 10, although it's the same for iOS and Android and all those other editions. And of course, if you need to play on a phone or a console, well, there's only one edition for you, and that is the Bedrock edition. So without further ado, let's jump in to some of the differences between Java and Windows 10.
So the first thing we're going to cover is mods. On Windows 10, there really are no mods. There may be some very, very difficult to find and difficult to install mods, but really nobody ever does that. What you do instead is you use behavior packs and resource packs. These are add-ons to enhance the game. Whenever you add a behavior pack, this takes the place of some of the default items in Minecraft. And so right here, I'm adding a behavior pack and a resource pack to reskin and rebehavior a few of the things inside of the game. With this specific pack, it adds a whole bunch of weapons like this missile launcher right here, which will explode the land. And it's very simple to install. In fact, it's way simpler to install than a modification, but it has its limitations in that you can really only use things that are already in the game. This missile launcher is taking the place of a bow. There is, in fact, actually no bow in the game anymore because it is now a missile launcher. To install something like this, you would download just these .mc pack files, which you just open and they import into the game. Now, I should say also that the behavior pack add-ons in Bedrock have sort of something similar in Java in the new snapshots, where you can choose a data pack, and this changes a lot of the game just by dragging and dropping a folder into the data packs area and possibly another resource pack on top of that. It basically does the exact same thing, except in order to install it, you do have to go into files on your computer. It's not as simple as a double click on an MC pack. You can contrast that to something like the Twitch launcher, which adds lots of mods into the game. In fact, there are tons of mod packs, which mash up hundreds of mods together. And if you don't really like any of these packs, you can also just create your own. Here we have lots of mods already added. I can click Get Content, and it is seriously just as simple as clicking Install and waiting for the launcher to compile it into your game. There we go. That's installed. Now let's talk a little bit about content. On the Bedrock versions, we have the Minecraft Marketplace, and this is for in-app purchase. You buy coins in order to buy these packs of different types of things. You can buy resource packs, you can buy maps, you can buy skins, or you can buy mashups of all of those things. So let's say this Adventure Time mashup by Minecraft, it does cost a lot more coins than a lot of the other things, but that's because you're getting not only a texture pack, but you're getting skins, a whole bunch of different character skins, and a map to play on as well. And there really isn't anything like this on the Java edition that's nicely curated, that you know is easy. You don't have to install off some website. It's built into the game, and so it's secure. Parents can easily set limits on how much your kids have, because you can buy the coins and that sort of thing, and they can only spend those many coins on different things. There really isn't that on the Java edition. But of course, what is available on the Java edition is many, many, many maps, resource packs, and community-driven things that are completely free. This is Planet Minecraft. It's just one of the many, many resources out there where you can download tons of content absolutely for free. Now, this isn't something that is as well monitored as what is actually built into the Minecraft Marketplace, because the Minecraft Marketplace is curated by Mojang, the creators of Minecraft themselves. And sometimes in order to download these types of things, you have to jump through a lot of hoops, through a lot of ads, and it can also be scary if you're just sending your kids loose to start downloading things on their computer. Now, I should mention that there is a version of this for the Bedrock edition. This is another option, mcpedl.com. And here you also have the same thing where you can download, say this is a map right here. It's a mini game. And this is free as well. So you can still get content for free on the Bedrock editions, but it's not as prevalent. There isn't as big of a community. And I will be honest that a lot of the Pocket Edition things tend to have more ads and more hoops that you have to jump through. So it requires, I would say, more parental supervision in order to make sure that you're getting the correct thing. And then another thing is that it is much easier to import this sort of thing. It's seriously just a double click and it's already on there. You don't have to go into files to drag it over. Now let's talk about performance. I'm here on the Java edition, and I'm just going to do some basic flying around. And you can see the world takes a little while to load in. In fact, if I just kind of look around and stop moving, you can still see that it takes a while for the world to load in. Now, this is obvious when you're up above in the sky. It's not quite so obvious when you're down here on the ground. You can see things in front of you, and it's not that big of a deal. But everybody knows that the Java edition is a little bit less performance ready. You can see things in the F3 menu, like this is taking up 3 gigabytes of RAM. It's actually using just about a gigabyte of it. But even with all of that, or those resources behind it, still it's not doing super great. You can also see my frames are somewhere, well, I have 160 frames, okay, so we're not framing out here. And the history that I've had with Java Edition, I do know that Java can have some performance issues. It takes up a lot of resources and doesn't give you the best results. Compare that to the Windows 10 Bedrock Edition here. Everything just loads in so fast. I mean, it's just incredible just how fast and snappy things are. I don't have the same F3 menu to tell me exactly what my frames are, exactly what resources this is taking up, but everybody basically knows that the Bedrock Edition is very, very performance focused. I mean, this edition is really made to work on phones. So given that it is smooth on phones and tablets, of course, a massive gaming computer is going to be just fine with this. Just as a quick contrast, you can see in my video settings, my render distance is pegged at 32 chunks. That's the most amount of chunks, and normally I stick around 16. But 32 is the most you can do on the Java edition. On Pocket Edition, on the Bedrock Edition, I should say, those chunks go all the way up to 80 chunks. So I could set 48 chunks. It's kind of like middle ground. I mean, 16 is the least amount of chunks that you could possibly use, but you can go all the way up to 80, which is a pretty incredible amount of distance. Even just 64 is absolutely great, and you can see just how quickly it loads in there. It's almost comical compared to the Java edition. Now, that isn't to say that the Windows 10 edition, the Bedrock edition, isn't without its performance issues. In fact, one big performance issue I had was with entities. I once tried to record a video with a farm that would farm tons and tons of entities, and actually this version, the Bedrock edition, crashed, where I know for a fact that if I built the same thing in the Java edition, that it wouldn't have crashed. And also, just a quick thing to point out is these entities, they're like flat little sprites basically on the Windows 10 Bedrock edition, but the same entity is actually a 3D entity in the Java edition. That's just a tiny detail that's always bothered me about the Bedrock edition. Now let's talk about multiplayer. On the Bedrock edition, we do have servers. You can see Lifeboat, Mineplex, and NPVP are sort of these whitelisted servers. You don't even have to add these. These are already in the game once you launch. Now, you do have to realize that if you're on an Xbox or PlayStation or even a Nintendo Switch, you will not be able to access servers without going through a paywall. Like on Xbox, it's Xbox Live Gold. You need one of the premium memberships in order to access online play with friends. And here on iOS and Android and this right now, Windows 10, it's free. And you can see that there's thousands of people playing on these servers. They're very easy to jump on. You can quickly play with your friends. In fact, there is a little bit of a difference compared to other types of, oops, I didn't mean to do that, other types of games, in that you actually have like actual menus. This is nothing like this with actual buttons. Is on the Java edition. So I actually really, really do like how this is implemented, that servers can have menus in order to actually get things done on the server. But of course, on the Java edition, because it's been around for so long and because there are so many players who kind of expect to be on online play, there are a lot more options. So these are just some servers that I've added, but there's tons and tons more. It seems to be a little simpler to spin up a server. In fact, I offer a Java edition server. I do not offer a Bedrock edition server. And so lots of people will offer these servers, but also look at the numbers. This is seconds apart from recording the other one. Here on Hypixel, there's 10,000 players. Over here on Windows 10, there's not that many at all. The closest server has a third of the most on Hypixel. So there's a lot more players playing on these servers, and there is a bigger variety of these servers. Now, finally, it should be said that you can play with a lot more different types of players on the Bedrock edition with the Better Together update. So if I'm on my computer, I can play with someone on a phone or a tablet or even a console if they've bought into playing with online friends. So you do have a wider range of players that you could play with. Next, I'm going to talk about controller support. Right now, I'm using my mouse and keyboards, but we can just switch so quickly on over to a controller. You can see here are, whoops, sorry about that. I'm actually not used to playing with a controller. Here's all of the different settings for a controller here on the Bedrock edition. Mouse and keyboard as well has all of these settings. It's super quick to switch back and forth. Now I'm back on my mouse and keyboard. Let me just open up a world. So here I am in this world playing on mouse and keyboard. I set that down, pick up a controller, and I am ready to go. It is the quickest handoff. It is so smooth, so easy. I can easily do everything that I can do with my mouse and keyboard with a controller on the Bedrock edition. That is absolutely untrue with the Java edition. The controller doesn't do absolutely anything. Over here in the controls, there is zero support for controllers. That means that you are really just out of luck if you want any default support for controllers on the Java edition. There are programs that you can download and things that you can do in order to make controllers work better with Java, but really, None of that is supported by first party, and it's always a little bit hacky to get it to work. You might need to install a mod, and that mod may not even be following the quickest updates. Maybe you want to play on a snapshot. Well, that mod won't be updated for the latest snapshots to play on controllers. I'm just talking hypothetically. It was just a lot more hoops to jump through if you want to work with controllers. You're really stuck to a mouse and keyboard on the Java edition. Okay, so the next section is going to be about gameplay, and this is focused on what is different from game to game when you're actually playing inside, not just controller, not all the extra stuff like servers and things. So these are the differences in gameplay. Let's talk about Redstone. We're on the Java edition right now, and this little contraption right here is a classic Redstone creation called a Jeb door, where when you flip the lever, both pistons below it will extend. However, when I do the exact same thing in the Bedrock edition, if I can build it correctly, only one piston extends. It doesn't extend the bottom piston. And this is a massive difference in the two games, is that Redstone behaviors do not work the same between the versions. And this is mostly because Redstone works 100% correctly in the Bedrock edition, and in the Java edition, it works a little bit buggy. But that is how Redstoners like it. This was originally a bug in Minecraft that people liked so much that they basically have it now built into the game. And there's many concepts within Redstone that uses Minecraft bugs in order to pull off more advanced techniques. And so many builds will use, say, a one-tick pulse or a whole bunch of other stuff that is sort of a bug in the game in order to pull off their designs. And that's never expressed in a Redstone tutorial. There's many very basics of Redstone that rely on these bugs in the game that are still bugs, but really a lot of Redstoners think of them as features. And because those aren't represented in the Bedrock edition, well, you could be following along with a Redstone tutorial and not realize that it isn't possible in the Bedrock edition, which would be very, very frustrating. And because most YouTubers play on the Java edition and most creators play on the Java edition, most of your tutorials will be for the Java edition, so you may be a little bit high and dry without as many Redstone tutorials as you would like on the Bedrock edition. Next, let's talk about coordinates. When you hit F3 on the Java edition, you're given this kind of exhaustive list of details. One of the details is your coordinates, and it's this right here, the X, Y, and Z. Now, this has become an integral part of a lot of multiplayer play and even single-player play to know exactly where you are in the game, because let's face it, you can get lost pretty quickly in Minecraft. So these coordinates are very, very useful to players. And the problem is that on the Bedrock edition, coordinates basically can't be found. You do not have the F3 menu like you do on Java, so you can't pull that up. If you try to make a map, well, your maps don't have chords anywhere on there. If you try to do a compass, well, compass doesn't have any coordinates on there. Basically, there is no built-in game way to see your coordinates yet. So if you are lost or you find something amazing that you want to write down the chords to, you just basically can't. The only workaround is really to do the teleport and to teleport where you are right now. So you could teleport myself to exactly where I'm standing, and you're given the chords in chat. But this can't be done on multiplayer servers because multiplayer servers don't give the players the ability to teleport. That would kind of ruin the game. And also, a lot of people, single-player games don't have cheats enabled, which will not allow you to do those types of commands. If your cheats are disabled, well, you can't do the teleport command. And a lot of people don't play with that because you want the advancements. We're going to get to advancements later on. So you can easily get your coordinates in the Java edition, not so easily on the Windows 10 edition. Next, in the Bedrock edition, it is impossible to pause the game. You can see that slime in front of me is moving around completely freely. The only way to pause the game is to click save and quit. Contrast that to the Java edition of the game. If you are in a single-player world and hit escape, well, the game just pauses. Everything just completely stops. Now, this is not true on servers where, of course, other people don't want the game to pause once you hit escape. And that's even true with single-player worlds as well. If you choose open to LAN and start a LAN world, when you hit escape, well, the game doesn't pause because now you have created a server. I was reading on Reddit that some people were theorizing that that is why you can't pause in the Bedrock edition, is because of the ability for players to join. Well, Java has that one figured out. Now let's talk about combat. In the Java edition, combat was changed a little while ago. Every time that I swipe my sword forward, you can see a little icon underneath my crosshairs that looks like a sword filling up with power. And that's exactly what it is there's a cooldown on your sword. So if I go to this cow and I just spam as quick as I can and don't let that sword fill up, well, it's actually a little bit more difficult to kill a cow. Let me try that one more time. And I'm just spam clicking, where if I actually wait for it to fill up, it only takes 2 hits to kill a cow. 1, come back. Oh, if I can hit him. 2, there you go, he's dead. Versus the other technique, which causes a whole bunch of times to kill him until he's dead. And this was part of the combat update. Also in this combat update are shields, and shields look like this, and they go onto your offhand, so you can have a shield and you can raise the shield in order to protect yourself. And that is the Java edition combat. Not the same in the Windows edition. If I hit this cow, I can just spam click. So you don't have to wait for that cooldown at all. As long as I hit the cow twice, there you go. He's dead in 2 hits. Oh, that one's so cute. I can't kill that one. There's no reason to wait to recharge your weapon. And there are 0 shields in the game. There's just no way to block at the moment. Finally, let's talk about placing blocks. Here in the Java edition, if I find a place that I want to build a block, I left click, and it will place down blocks as fast as I click. And if I move to the left, you can see that the timing of the block placement isn't quite perfect. If I just hold down and walk to one direction, it places an extra block every so often. But in the Bedrock edition, if you place blocks and move from one side to the other, it keeps placing them. And in fact, it does this amazing thing that you don't even have to be clicking the ground, just towards where you want the block to be, and it will continue to place it. On the Java edition, if you're not clicking directly where the block goes, then you are not, it's not going to be placed. So if you click and move in a direction, I can move as fast or as slow as I want. It somehow knows that, you're going to place a block in that direction. I don't have to be looking at the ground. I can be looking up. I don't even know if I could. No, I can't look that high up. You just still need to be in the hitbox of where the next block will be. But it is, I got to say, it's just nice. It's just a nice thing. Finally, let's talk about updates to the game. Java Edition just gets the updates faster than the Bedrock Edition. And you can see in my launch options, if I head here, you can see all the different updates, all of these weirdly named W whatevers. Those are all the snapshots, the development updates, which the community gets just to beta test. And then right here, this is the latest release right there. These are some modified things. But that 12.2, 1.12.2 is the latest release. You don't have this type of option on the Bedrock Edition. You don't really have a way to choose what version. You can see the version down there. You don't really have a way to choose the version. And the only way that you can get development updates is to join the Minecraft beta program And you can do that on Android as well. iOS and the Xbox consoles don't get the same thing. And you get this text up at the top. One thing that I dislike about this is that it's really difficult to switch between the versions. Sometimes I've tried to switch out of the beta into a normal version, and you're just kind of at the whim of whatever your computer wants to do that day. Even if you uninstall and reinstall, sometimes you'll be in the normal release, sometimes you'll be in the beta release. It's just confusing. It's not nearly as easy to switch between beta and normal release. And the things that are in the beta on the Bedrock edition aren't as updated as the things that are in the beta version of Minecraft, because you just get more stuff with the Java edition.
Woo, that was a much longer video than I expected it would be. Then there's still more. I mean, there's no way I could cram every single detail of the differences in this one video. There's blocks that are different. I mean, tiny itty bitty minuscule things. But I hope that you found this useful, a pretty long list of things that are different between the Java and the Bedrock edition. Let me know in the comments down below what I missed. What's on the top of your head that you're thinking, you know, you never said this, and you'll let other people know your thoughts. So give them the information they need. Thanks so much for watching this episode of OMGcraft. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Please leave a comment down below, like I said before, and make sure you subscribe for future videos here on OMGcraft. See you next time. Bye.